Joining me right now is former Republican presidential candidate himself, Herman Cain. Herman Cain, good to see you, my friend. Thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you, Maria.
Let me ask you, what is wrong with the Republican Party, sir, that they cannot just get out of the way of each other and basically go against the opponent, who is Hillary Clinton?
If they had any more feet, they would shoot themselves in all feet other than the two that they've been doing.
Unbelievable.
It's as if the Republicans don't have a big enough problem with the anti-Trump movement and the division within the Republican Party. This doesn't help. Now, as to John Boehner's statement, it's just political noise, in my opinion. There are some things that you might say backstage or in back of the camera, and there are some things that you might say in front of an audience, but not in front of a camera. But when you are a former Speaker of the House, anything you say is going to be picked up and it's going to be played. But it's political noise. It has nothing to do with the substance that they ought to be focusing on.
It's absolutely right. And I just mentioned to Dagan a minute ago, I mean, this from John Boehner, arguably the face of the establishment which basically brought us here, Dagan.
Right, and
yes.
And I wonder, and Herman can answer this, does John Boehner, who was essentially deposed by his own party, is he unhappy being out of the spotlight? He's speaking at Stanford in Northern California to a probably non-Republican audience, and he's playing to them. He's going for the jugular, right?
Yeah, that's
yes.
Right. You're right.
Anytime you've been in the spotlight in a high-profile leadership position for a long time, yes, you do miss it if you don't have something else to fall back on that allows you to continue to be engaged and active. So I think that's part of it. But the other part of it is, since he no longer has the responsibility of watching carefully what he says, he's now deciding to say whatever he wants, how he feels in front of whatever audience. And all it is doing is creating a distraction for the Republicans because he represents the face of the Republican establishment, as you pointed out.
Yeah. Can we talk about one of the best things that could happen for this country, and that's simplifying the tax code, whether it's with a flat tax or ending the loopholes? Do you think it could ever happen in our lifetime that the government would actually do this, considering that the IRS is so big and such a big part of our government now?
The answer is absolutely yes, and here's why. You have to have a leader in the White House who believes that it can be done. Secondly, then they exert the necessary political capital to lead the charge, and the way you get it done with the right person in the White House is to engage the American people. Maria has been talking about the report relative to the GDP growth this morning.
That's right.
0.5%. That is pathetic when this economy has the capacity for 5.0. You want to know why it's down at a pathetic 0.5? Because this administration, with its policies for the last 7.5 years, want people to believe that this is the new normal. Mm-hmm. Secondly, they have no intentions of doing the biggest thing that they could do to spur economic growth, which is do something about the tax rates. I would replace the whole code, as you all know, and that's what ought to be done. But this administration refuses to acknowledge that it's tax policies, that it's intimidation or it's threats toward businesses when they have profits overseas, discouraging inversions. Look, they ought to be encouraging. Yeah, they ought to be encouraging money to come back.
Herman, I'm so glad you brought this up. Do you know that this presidency is going to go down as the 4th worst presidency on record when it comes to the economy? Get this. I'm looking at the numbers right now. The rate of real economic growth, the single greatest determinant of both America's strength as a nation and the well-being of the American people. Barack Obama will be the only president in history who did not deliver 1 year of 3% growth. Okay, and we're averaging 1.5% over 8 years, Herman.
Yes, yes, and the reason goes back to the sneaker taxes embedded in Obamacare, EPA on steroids and all of the regulations, the uncertainty created by this administration, which causes businesses not to want to grow. Yep. I'm sure you've already reported on, corporate profits for the first quarter are going to be down 6%. We have seen the signs that this was coming, Maria. You and Dagan and the rest of the people on your panel and everybody that follows business.
Yeah.
I've talked about it on my radio show. We saw the signs, but the Federal Reserve has been giving false signals that the economy might turn around. You don't raise interest rates unless the economy is overheating.
And they can't raise rates.
Right, they can't raise rates.
So the question is, will Trump be able to turn it around, or Hillary? That's what we're looking at in November. Who's going to turn this around?
Donald Trump is the only one that'll turn it around. Hillary is on record of continuing the policies of Barack Obama. She has said it several times. So if you get a Hillary in the White House, nothing's going to change. It'll probably get worse. You get a Donald Trump in the White House, since he is now leading. I know he hasn't sewn it up.
Right.
And you have the establishment continuing to say, well, if he doesn't get the 1,237, he's probably not going to get it.
I know.
Maria,
I know.
That's what they are supposed to say. But I got to tell you, the man is on a roll.
Yeah.
All you have to do is look at not just the fact that he won all 5 states on Tuesday, look at how he beat the polls by such a large margin. That
we'll
says
see. Well, we're going to look to Indiana.
The American,
he thinks if he takes Indiana, it's over. I mean, that's what he said last night. So we'll see. Herman Cain, always a pleasure. Wonderful to have you as always. Thank you so much.
Sorry I got so worked up.
No. We did too. We love it. We love your passion. Come back soon, Herman. It's really good to see you. Herman Cain joining us there this morning.